Representative Harris.
Representative Harris, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in opposition to this bill. This legislative body recently passed HB 543, which was signed into law that removes the requirement to obtain a permit to carry a concealed weapon and therefore all of the qualifications that one would need to get a firearm. And as you know, I recall a time before I was here when this legislative body passed the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act, and that raised the age of those who could purchase a handgun from 18 to 21. Because this state had just experienced one of the nation's most horrible mass shootings at that school. Research suggests that 18 to 20-year-olds are the most likely to commit school shootings, and giving them easier access to guns is a recipe for disaster. And how difficult is it to talk about these large mass shootings events in words of like one of or the last one? I don't have the right number of adjectives. I can't find the right words to describe just how much we shouldn't be living in a society where we have to quantify how many mass shootings we've experienced. But you know what? We also don't talk about the other deaths that occur by gun, and that's suicide. And so according to Pew Research, suicide makes up over 50% of the gun deaths in this country. And while we are experiencing the rise in suicide by gun death, we are also seeing a rise in this country, and we talk about it all the time, of depression and anxiety. The JED Foundation found that 1 in 3 adolescents and young adults, 18 to 25, have experienced a mental, behavioral, or emotional issue in the past year. This body has said repeatedly that there is a mental health crisis, but we haven't done enough to address that crisis before putting more guns into the hands of an age group that is already struggling. Adolescents and young adults are more likely to struggle with their mental health, more likely to commit an act of mass violence with a gun, and more likely to take their own lives. And here we are allowing them to purchase a gun without a permit and all of the qualifications that it would take to get that permit. This state that we live in has a lot of issues to be addressed. We have people struggling to make ends meet. We have teachers dealing with a host of laws that address the outrage du jour. We have health disparities, and now we're going to give anyone over 18 the opportunity to buy a gun without nary a bit of training required to get a permit. I'm sorry, I don't know what we're doing here. So, despite the arguments here, the Second Amendment isn't permission to unfettered access to firearms. We have an obligation to ensure the people of this state are healthy, prosperous, and safe. I am voting down on this bill.